Hey everybody, Andy here. And yeah, so today, our day 15 of the 100 Day Music Challenge.
Woo!
I have a helper controlling the camera. Thank you, Larissa. Yes, from behind the lens there. Because we're going to be doing some accordion surgery today, and that's a little difficult for me to both use both hands and take it apart and show you what's going on without the camera just being like, oh, here's the carpet. Isn't that fascinating? So, we're going to start off this video specifically with the Dallapé, with Big Tony. As you may have seen in my previous videos on my lesson, we had a sticky G sharp on the left-hand side, and my teacher suggested take the bass trap off, take the panel off, make sure there aren't any rods that are bent or anything like that. So, that is what we're going to do. Oh, alrighty, so I don't know if you can see from there what we're doing or not. So to take the bass strap off, what I'm going to do is use this doodly boppy thing here. That's the technical term.
Wheelie bop.
The doodly bop, which the ham or does the thing. It loosens or tightens the bass strap. So if I loosen it all the way, I should be able to pull the strap all the way out. Spinning, 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 spinning. I can feel it's coming out slowly here, but it usually takes quite a bit. Oh, come on now. Oh my gosh, I had it all the way loosened. I just tightened it up. That would explain why it was so loose. Well, that's good to know. Ha 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 ha. Righty tiny lefty loosey, right? But which way is the lefty loosey on this? Okay, let's just...
Well, not that way, apparently.
Not that way, yep. Oh. Come on, you. There we go. There we go. Yeah, you can see how that's coming out now. It's almost like it was in real thoroughly or something so that it wouldn't fall out accidentally. Holy cow, this is a workout. Alright, yeah, I should look at the lens, not at Larissa's face. Ah, there we go. So, if you see, it's basically just like a screw on the end. So when I'm putting this into the accordion, we're basically have like a nut that we're tightening that pulls this farther and farther and farther and farther in as it goes. So with that off, we're able to see the number plate of the accordion. So this was number 93 made in that year of whatever year it was. All I know is it was mid-60s.
I know he told us, I just don't remember what it was.
So I'm going to pull these screws out, and that should allow us to take this plate off, and then we will see our bass reads. So let's get a screwdriver here, which I had placed right behind me. There we go. I'm all organized and ready to go for all the videos I do, except how I'm usually not. Alright, so, I don't know if you want to, like, get behind my shoulder so you can see down.
Okay.
Okay, so, let's switch over to our flathead. There we are. And then, I'm going to go in here for the screws. Now, something you do want to be very careful about if you're doing this at home, two things. With accordions, not so much with the screws, but definitely for the pins, if you're pulling off the bellows, you want to be very certain that you use the exact same pins in the exact same holes, and that you don't let them get bent.
Why so?
The reason is they're not all standard shapes and sizes. You might find that you're not able to put your accordion back together if they're not the same ones.
That sounds less than pleasant.
Right. So, I usually don't have someone to talk to. This is kind of nice. So, I'm going to make sure, even with the screws here, that I'm putting them in my plate there in the order that I'm taking them out, just so that I can recall where each of these goes. There we go.
So, note to self, I won't kick the container.
Yeah, please don't kick the container, love. That would be detrimental to the cause. There we go.
Noted.
Other thing you want to note when you're taking apart an accordion is, and this I mean is somewhat more common sense, but do be careful that you don't scratch the finish, because that can be kind of devastating if you do that on accident. I don't have any, but you can get rubber-tipped needle nose pliers that are really good if you're going to be pulling the pins out in particular. So, there we go. Yep. There we go. I think this is the first time I've actually taken the Dallapé apart at all, so this might be,
As far as I know,
quite an
yeah.
experience. And when in doubt, especially if you're new to accordioning, you just spent all that money on your new accordion. If you're not sure what you're doing and you don't want to risk it, don't. Take it to a repair shop instead.
Now, there's one in the middle there. Is that
So there is. Oh, good eyeball. So
helping?
note that the head of this screwdriver is just a little bit wide. I don't want to strip the finish at all, so I'm going to try and find a flat head. There we go.
Could use the teeny
There we go.
tiny one.
No, I couldn't see it.
Is that a
really quick,
Phillips,
so.
though?
Oh, yeah, that little itty-bitty baby screwdriver.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that is a Phillips screwdriver that was sent as part of a...
Was it an eyeglass repair kit or something?
No. Because I got 2 of them when I bought a set of something. I want to say that was from like a solid state drive, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, just a little tiny Phillips.
There we go. We've got all of our screws out. I can feel the plates ready to come off. You ready? Dun, 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 dun. Right.
Check out all those bits and pieces.
Yeah, so the base mechanism obviously is a complicated one. If I press down one of the pins here, you can see how that moves a different set of pins within, and those control the reeds underneath, which reeds are going to be open and receiving air at that time. So what I'm looking for right now is my G sharp. Now, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit lower than my others. There it is, right there. So my third one down on my root row. So we're just going to press that down and see. Okay. So
Looks like that guy down there, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm looking for is the rod, this rod here. I want to make sure that it's not bent at all. And it actually does look like it's bent a little bit up at the top. When I'm looking in through this way, I don't know if you can see it real well or not from in there.
Not really, but just hit the button a few times.
Okay, so up here-ish. Yeah. It's just curved a little bit slightly at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my screwdriver here. Let's just press down that key again so I can see where it's at. I'm just going to try to bend it just slightly. Oh, that's not quite long enough. Let's take this. There we go. Trying to remember which one it is here.
So, what are you using as a pivot point against that?
As a pivot point?
So, I'm guessing you're kind of levering it into place?
Yeah, so what I'm going to try to do is just get in between the other rods without pushing them around too much. And just kind of tap it a little bit to see if I can get it to be happy. It's still just a little bit off.
Okay, my concern was just getting the others out of sync by pushing against them accidentally.
Yes, that would be a problem.
So are you doing it against the other pieces holding them in place as part of it?
I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of going in and winging it here.
Okay, it's an honest answer.
Yeah. Okay, so this part's fine. But it's sticking up here. I'm trying to, it's really hard to figure out. There, okay. There's the one. So I want you. I want to, there we go. So they don't actually bend all that easily. So hopefully just putting a little bit of pressure like I just did shouldn't affect anything too bad. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and try to play it and see if that did it.
Can you play it without the guts on the side? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I know the strap doesn't work so well for you without it, but...
So what I'm checking for here... Okay, so it is still having a bit of an issue with the compression. Something is open, and that's allowing it to... And yeah, that button is still depressed a little bit more than it should be. So why aren't you returning up to the top? See how this button here is the one that we're worried about? How much lower down it is than the others?
Oh, yeah. It's not sticking out nearly
Now,
as
if I
much.
push up on the rod...
Then it gets back into place there.
Right.
So
and then... I mean, it does still pull, but you can't hear air moving that time. Whereas before it was just...
It was just... Okay, so let me think through this. So when it was half cocked like this, air was escaping through it, which was leading to a different tonality before. And when you have it all stuck all the way up manually by pushing it up so that the button is up, less air is leaking through, but there's still a little bit left. Is that an accurate recap?
Yeah, that's an accurate recap. I'm having trouble, honestly, figuring out why it's not... Okay, why are you being such a pain in the tuchus?
So what is it stuck on is
Exactly.
kind of where we're at.
What is it stuck on? Why is it stuck? Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey!
Magic happened. Okay.
So just being able to pull it, then you can tell that there's a lot more suction.
Right, so the compression is much, much better.
Okay, and then this is the breath button, right?
Right.
Whereas that allows it just to move.
Actually, go ahead and push that. I'll push it and you can record. So see how the breath button is right here attached to this lever? Can you get a shot in at that corner?
I'm in about as well as I can be.
See?
But there's a little block that moves.
Yeah, that block is where that air is coming through. So
that breaks the vacuum.
Right. That's where all that air comes through. That's actually like a reed plate. But then if we do one of these, like that stubborn... Okay, we still have something a little funky there, but...
Yeah. It's on that side.
That might just be because the register wasn't pressed all the way down, though. Let's try that again. There we go. So one of the biggest issues that people like myself have run into is, well, it only plays some of the reeds on one side, but all of the reeds on the other side. That commonly is because you didn't have your register pressed down all the way. So in this case, it was probably like the register had been slightly pushed. So let me see if I can get it halfway between these two.
Oh, so it was...
So that's the exact same issue. So I'm going to firmly push down my register. And that even fixed the issue where it sounded flat.
Yeah.
So there we go. We have successfully repaired the left-hand side of our Dallapé. How did I do it? By bending that pin back into place. How did I know how it had to be bent? I had no freaking idea. I just tapped it until it worked. I'm not a professional. Don't take my word as things that you should do. But hey, if you are working on a budget or you just want to try to fix it yourself, that's great. The thing I would point out, though, I never used a ton of pressure.
It was a screwdriver and gently pushing, not a hammer.
Exactly. I mean, these, I'm fairly certain, are all steel pins, but they are very thin. So you don't want to go in and be like, I'm going to move it, because then you're going to break it. And as you can see, these are incredibly complicated. I mean...
Lots of moving parts in there, yeah. So even as you're bending one, you're careful not to put too much pressure to knock another out of alignment.
While we're in here, though, can you see how, like, I push down on this little flappy, how it moves all those pins
all
down
relative flappies?
That is actually controlling a note.
So when you're playing a chord, it's playing that part of the chord each time.
Yeah, those are individual notes. So, and those connect to these rods down here, which are then going to control that individual note that's being played. And let's see, let's count here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those.
An octave?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's going to be, right? Because, yeah. So you've got all of these then are going to be an individual note on the chromatic scale. So looking at this one here, that's my second one down.
Well, that sounded pleasant.
But yeah, and so you can see how this same one, though, it's on several different chords, because maybe on this first button, it's going to be those.
These bars back here, it's a bar with sticks out of it.
Right.
Okay, so this part is turning back here. It's turning this way and that.
Right.
And then as the bar turns, all the little sticky bobs are attached to that particular bar.
Exactly.
Sticky bobs, of course, being the technical term here.
Yeah, so if you can see, when I'm doing the diminished 7 chord, only 3 sticky bobs move, as you say. And that's a trick on accordions, is even though we have 7 chords, those 7 chords are only going to be 3 notes, not 4 that you would expect on a 7.
Now,
it drops the third out.
For us who are maybe not music theorists, 7 chord?
So a 7 chord is going to... So you've got like your major chord, right? There we go. Major chord is going to be made up of a major third and then a minor third stacked on top of each other to make that chord. And then to make a regular, I'm not remembering the exact right phrase now, but a typical 7 chord is a major 7. That adds another minor third on the top of that. Oh, that's the minor. There we go.
Okay.
So that's the same as your major chord, but with the minor here. So it should be, right? Hang on. Something to that effect. Anyway.
I remember minor chords. It's the relation of the third to that first. So it, however many steps it is away from it, and that's what makes it a major versus a minor.
Right. So I think I misspoke. It's a major 7 because it's a major third added on top that makes it a major 7. And my diminished 7 is there. So that's I don't know if you can hear, but that doesn't have the third in it.
Okay, so the parts, yeah, gotcha.
But if I play the minor as well, then I get the whole chord. Because each of these only ever moves 3 reeds. So this, on the minor chord, we can see this little spiky bop moves. On the 7, it doesn't. But if I move that one also, then you get your full minor 7 chord.
I'm glad you don't have to stick your hand in and move the sticky bobs.
No.
That would be the suck.
It would be pretty terrible. But that's how the bass side of a Stradella bass accordion works. Now, if this were a free bass accordion, each of these would actually have its own reed flap and would have its own reed that it would play, rather than being connected to a chord structure like this.
What does free bass look like on the side here?
Same exact thing.
Okay.
The buttons look exactly the same.
Each button is a note instead of a chord.
Yep. And in fact, there are some accordions you can get that have a converter switch at the top that allows you to switch from Stradella into free bass.
I bet those are much heavier.
They are much heavier, and they're typically more expensive. So, yeah. But there we go. We have repaired our accordion. We'll take a look at Torvald in an upcoming one as to what's going on with his right-hand side, because we had a note that was sticking. But I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, give me comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it.
If you need to correct our music theory, put that in there too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I would ask that in any of my videos. If I say something that's just incredibly stupid and wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Just be a little nice about it, I would ask you, please, because I know everyone on the internet is kind and full of love and happy thoughts. But anyway, love you all. Have fun. We'll see you next time.